Hello, and welcome back to our weekly discussion of our mission as mankind in general and as Jews in particular, as we learn from the 5 books of Moses, the Torah. This week, we're in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, in the second portion, in the second Parsha, Veschanan, and boy, is this one a doozy. There's so much in this Parsha that it's hard to pick one thing or another. Two things that really stand out. One is the Ten Commandments, which almost everyone has heard of, regardless of your religious stance, even people who aren't of the three major faiths. And the other one is the Shema, which is a central prayer in Judaism and the only prayer that's actually commanded by the Torah. It's the closest thing to dogma that we actually have. It starts out, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokecha, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. So basically, what it's saying is you have to believe in God. Okay, that's pretty much it as far as dogma is concerned. That is it. Now, if you accept that, and if you believe in God, and you believe that he's omnipotent, he's omnipresent, he doesn't have boundaries or limitations, then you must come to the natural conclusion that if he created this world, he either created it and now cares about nothing and just letting it go, or he cares about everything, which, if he is all those things we just said, it doesn't make a difference because he has no limitations. So if he cares about everything, then he must have a purpose and we must have a mission. Where do we learn that? Jews, Christians, Muslims alike all look to the Torah as a sacred text describing what it means to be good men and women and to be good Jews in particular. Okay, so what is our mission as we learn it from this parsha? We've spoken before about the idea that our mission on earth is to raise everything to a higher level of spirituality, everything from the inanimate object to other human beings, and of course ourselves. Where do we learn this here? One place we learn it is from the Ten Commandments itself. And you might recognize this. It's in the fifth parak, the fifth chapter, and the 12th verse of this parsha in Deuteronomy. It says, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, and make it holy, and sanctify it. So what this tells us then is our role as mankind, in particular, and Jews, is to imitate God. God set aside this one day a week and said, this is different from everything else. And then we're told, you also have a role here. You also have to sanctify. You have to raise it, spiritually speaking, so to speak. So even time itself, we're responsible for having a role in raising spirituality. Now, since we're talking about time, is it only this one day a week? Logically, we would think not, but we can actually look to the parsha itself and look at the Shema. The second portion of the Shema, where it starts out, you should love the God, your God, is starting out saying you have to love God. Now, how do you command someone to love? That's a very big topic, not for us today, but very interesting nonetheless. It goes on to say that these words, meaning the words of Torah, should be on your heart when you wake up, when you lie down, and when you're on the way, when you're walking on the way. So what does this mean? It's a full-time job, right? It's 24/7, right? And how much? How much of your mind does this occupy? Again, looking to the Shema, it says kol levavacha, with all your heart. So you're all in to the extent that you can be, right? Okay, so we've talked about time. We've talked about making the Sabbath particularly special, that we have to think about these holy thoughts throughout the week as well. Is this it? We just take time? No, of course not. If not, in the Shema and elsewhere in this parsha, and we've talked about this before, it talks about teaching your sons the ways of Torah. And the sages tell us that when the Torah is talking about your sons, it means anyone that you're teaching, right? And how do you teach? Well, of course, you have to learn. So taking from the fact that we have to teach, we have to learn. And we've talked about this also in previous videos, and we'll mention again here that clearly then learning for learning's sake is very selfish and egocentric. Why do we learn? We learn to teach others. Okay, so let's recap. We've stated we should believe in God. We assume that He cares about everything because to Him it doesn't matter whether He cares about everything or nothing. It's no more skin off His nose, so to speak. And so therefore there must be a purpose, a mission, which is what we're looking for. Where would that be? We assume that that mission would probably be delivered somehow, somewhere. And of course, the 5 books of Moses are believed by most Jews to be the Word of God as recorded by Moses. And we know that we have to be conscious of what we're doing. It tells us that you're going to do these things so that you'll look good in the eyes of the people. What people? In this parsha, it's talking about the Jews have to act a certain way so that the non-Jews will look and say, yes, this is good. This is a good way to be. Okay, one last little point. There's a very interesting phrase that Moses says as he's talking to the people. It's in the 4th chapter, and it's in the 26th verse. And in that little phrase, Moses is calling out heaven and earth as a witness against the Jews. A witness against the Jews. What does this mean? Heaven and earth is a witness against the Jews. What it means is that we don't just care about how we behave in front of others. We don't just care about with our sons. We care in general, and the earth itself is a witness. Why? We talked about before that the earth is part of us, and we're part of the earth. As it says in Bereshit, as Genesis, we were created from the earth, so we're intricately connected. And Mother Earth itself abhors and will not tolerate certain behaviors, especially in the Holy Land, especially in Israel. And we're warned that if those behaviors are not on the right derech, on the right path, it'll spit us out. It can't destroy us because we're too connected. So with that, I hope that we all can achieve the highest level of spirituality for ourselves, for those around us, and bring the final redemption may be speedily in our days. Besoros tovos and a Shabbat Shalom.